My very first guest today joined the Australian children's musical group, High Five, back in 2013. He starred in the Australian production of Xanadu. He's had opportunities to star in a number of musicals. There have been A Chorus Line, Ragtime, Violet, another great show, Crazy for You, many, many others too. Then in 2016, he was cast in the worldwide hit musical Aladdin. And the rest, I think, is pretty much history. AILSLEY MELHAM is on the line right now. He stars as Aladdin and he joins us online. Nice to have you with us, AILSLEY. How are you?
Good afternoon, Lee. It's lovely to speak to you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very, very much. Mate, congratulations on what you and Michael and the cast do. You're just absolutely fantastic. That show, I don't know how you keep your energy going.
It is quite a ball of energy, that show.
Isn't it?
I often describe it as a steam train, and once you're on, you can't get off until that bow at the end.
That's right. Well, you're on stage almost all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I have a couple of breaks, a five-minute break in the first and a few minutes in the second act, and apart from that, it's full steam ahead.
AILSLEY, how do you keep the energy up?
That's a great question. It's a great question. Lots of sleep, lots of good food, hydrating always for my voice, and to be honest, it is just a lot of rest in the in-between times. You ask a lot of my friends and my family, and you know, they're always very keen to hang out and catch up, but I really have to sort of monitor that and make sure that I'm sort of preserving my energy so I can get on and do that show every day.
AILSLEY, I suppose as an actor and a singer as you are, you've got to be so careful with your voice and who you do associate with colds and flus and so on, because your voice is so important to you.
Absolutely. It really becomes, I mean, you know, people say it all the time, the voice is your instrument, and it really is very true. You have to make sure that you're always well rugged up in the cold weather, and hand sanitizer becomes your best friend when you're meeting lots of people, and yeah, lots of good lemon and ginger and garlic and all of those good things to keep your health.
Well, the garlic could keep your friends away, wouldn't it?
That's true, very much so. Poor Princess Jasmine, sometimes she cops it on stage.
Yeah. You did your training over at Whopper, and I've got to say that Whopper has so many great, talented people coming out of there these days.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful institution, and they really do provide young performers with a fantastic environment to refine their skills. And I guess as you said, you sort of see it in the industry when you see lots of performers who have come from Whopper who are working, which is a really wonderful thing. I'm really proud of that. And
of course, you've got the Hugh Jackman, of course, and Todd McKenny, many others from that neck of the woods. And you'd be quite surprised the number of people I interview on this program here, Showbiz. I'd have to say about 40% of them would have come through Whopper.
Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, it's wonderful for Western Australia. Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about yourself. Now, let's go back into how you got this part. Now, you auditioned back in 2016. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was quite a lengthy process. As with most musicals these days, I started the audition process in December in 2015, and finished it at the end of January 2016. So it was about 2 months, and I was in the room about 4 or 5 times. The first time, just a first look-see, and as I got called back, they asked to see more scene work and more songs and some dancing, and until it got to that final round where there were just a few of us left, and the panel had grown to 13 or 14 people who were overseeing the show, and it was quite a nerve-wracking experience. Just the length of time, because you had plenty of time in between to question yourself and try and figure out what you should be doing, right or wrong, and yeah, so it was quite nerve-wracking, but very much worth it by the end, obviously.
AILSLEY, what's it like when you get that phone call to say you've got it?
Just absolute disbelief at first, to be honest with you, and then utter elation, and obviously excitement for myself, but really excited to tell like my mum and dad and my family, I guess, because I started performing when I was 3, and they have supported me for so long now. And my mum used to always say to me, I can't wait for you to be up on that big stage performing. We'd go see musicals when I was a kid, and she'd always sort of have that dream for me. And so it was really exciting, not only to do it for myself, but to be able to sort of do it for them, and to see how excited they were about it as well.
You mentioned there the age of 3 when you first performed. What were you doing then?
So when I was only 3 years old, my mother always tells me that I used to respond to music as a young kid. So she put me into dance lessons, into tap dance lessons. Obviously, very basic at 3 years old, but it started all the way back then, just with sort of rhythm and basic steps. So and from then on, I've been dancing for what feels like my whole life.
And your love for it just grew and grew. You're about 26 now, aren't you?
Yeah, 25, yep.
Yeah, 25, yeah. So it's just grown with you, and you've grown into that as well. It's quite a different show when we talk about Aladdin to High Five.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, quite a transition there.
Yeah, it was... I agree with you that it is very different in many ways, but it was quite interesting how somebody said to me the other day, you've been performing for children for 3 years in High Five, and performing for children requires you to be open and vulnerable in a way, and just ready to respond at any moment. And they said, and now you're playing Aladdin, and you're playing this character with a big heart and sort of this open nature, and it's in this big, wonderful Disney musical. And they were like, it sort of seems like a natural progression. And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, there must have actually, yes, there were a lot of skills that I learned and refined during my time with High Five that I all of a sudden am utilising in Aladdin without me even knowing.
The way the cast communicates with the audience is just absolutely fantastic. You've got yourself, and of course, and Michael Scott. He's just absolutely brilliant as a genie. Do you get along well together?
Absolutely, Michael and I get along like a house on fire, which is really so crucial in a show like this, and in a show that focuses on a friendship. There's a love story in Aladdin between Aladdin and Jasmine, but the bigger love story is the friendship between Aladdin and the genie, and the fact that we get on so well off stage, I feel like that translates on stage also, and further to that, the whole cast get along really well. It's really a wonderful environment to be in, and I think that translates, because people after it always say to us, "You look like you're having so much fun." And we are having fun. Yes,
it does translate to the audience. You can see that coming through time and time and time again, and it's just wonderful. I love the scene where, of course, you're up above the stage there, and you're on the magic carpet. It's just beautiful, isn't it? How safe do you feel up there doing that?
We feel very safe. The wonderful technical elements of that piece of theatre magic is very safe. So it's really exciting for us. I can't believe I get to do that as a job every night, going and go on it feels like an amusement ride.
Look at this, Mum, I'm floating. I'm doing it.
That's it. Exactly.
Well, there's a couple of times that's on stage, and it's just wonderful. And the audience, I think we're all waiting for that to happen. And when that happens, that's the whole climax, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's such an iconic feature and song in the animated movie, and I think absolutely, as soon as somebody says Aladdin, that's the number one thing that they associate with the movie and with the show. So there is a lot of expectation when you come along to see the musical. To the people are wondering, well, how are they going to make this work? How are they going to make a carpet fly on stage? And to hear the audible gasps in the audience when that carpet first takes flight is really exciting, because in that moment you go, we've got them. They're really excited, and they're sort of swept away by the magic.
Well, the night I was there, I'm sure there was a smile on your face. The audience did exactly what you said. There's that gasp, sort of thing. Yep. And there was a smile on your face that came up, and I thought, you can hear what we're doing there.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, as an actor, I guess part of us lives for that. That's our reward, We're storytellers, and we're on stage, and we're vehicles to tell all sorts of different stories. But when you hear the audience get involved, or when you can actually hear it affecting them, whether that's excitement or sadness or whatever it is, then that's really exciting for an actor, because you know that you're doing your job.
Ainsley, you said earlier that your mum took you along to quite a lot of musicals as a kid. Did you have a favourite?
I used to love Singing in the Rain. That was my sort of my absolute love as a kid, and what I looked up to those performers of that 30s and 40s era, because I grew up as a tap dancer, and you know, I always wanted to be a part of that. And that was the movie that I really loved, and the live experience that always stays with me was The Lion King. The first time it came through Australia, and sitting in the audience and watching that was such a beautiful experience and really exciting for a young boy, and again, another one of Disney's really fantastic shows.
Well, Aladdin's going to have a long season here in Melbourne, I dare say, and do very, very well like it did up in Sydney. Where do you go after Melbourne? Are you touring?
The hope is to tour. Yes, I mean, you know, that's the hope for every show here. But yes, we're gonna be here in Melbourne, hopefully for a little while. And if all goes well, then we do hope to perhaps keep touring. But I have to let the powers that be decide that one.
What's in the process for you after the show? What's on the books?
Well, yeah, that's a great question, and a question I get asked all the time. It's always exciting to think about what's next and what's coming up. At the moment, I'm very much, you know, committed to Aladdin for the Melbourne season, and exploring other opportunities, hopefully into next year when Aladdin will wrap up. At this point, there's nothing to talk about publicly, but hopefully some exciting things to talk about in the future.
Perhaps television coming back for you?
I'd love that. I'd love to be back on television. Absolutely, that's such a wonderful medium to work in. What I really hope and what's really exciting is if I can keep you know, traversing the theatre medium and the film TV medium. I love working across all of it, and so if I can keep doing that, I'll be a happy man.
Ainsley, I'm sure you're going to do that, and you'll do extremely well in Aladdin. You're just absolutely brilliant, mate. It's a wonderful show, and it's a sort of show you've got to go and see a couple of times. It's just so happy, so bright, and you know, we all love it. You're great. I thank you for your time today. I know you're very, very busy this afternoon, so I wish you well for the show. I'll come back in a couple of weeks and see it all over again, and I just wish you guys a heck of a long season here in Melbourne.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, and we can't wait to have you back.
Thanks, Ainsley. Take care, pal.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye to you. What a lovely chap. Ainsley Melham there, the star of Aladdin. And go along and see it. It really is worth it. It's a wonderful, wonderful musical of Disney, and it's just magical. The colour, the brilliance of it, the singing, it's all so, so good. You could not give it any less than a 10 out of 10.